Welcome to Monk's Temple. Settle in, wherever you are. Let the weight of the day begin to soften. Let your breath arrive, just as it is. There's a quiet here, a space. And in this space, we often find the things we've been carrying. Not the physical things, but the weights in the heart. The tightness in the chest when a certain name floats into mind. The old, cold stone of a word that was said long ago but still feels heavy in your stomach. The world outside has a very loud, very convincing story about these weights. It says they are your armor. It says to put them down is to lose. It whispers that forgiveness is a defeat, a foolish erasing of the score, a naive invitation to be hurt again. For over 35 years of walking this path, of sitting in silence and observing the weather of the human heart, I have heard this whisper. And I have learned, from the profound depths of Buddhist teaching, that this whisper is perhaps the most painful misunderstanding we can hold. Today, we are not going to argue with the world. We are simply going to take a different path. A quieter one. We are going to explore the true terrain of forgiveness, not as a surrender, but as the most strategic, the most compassionate, the wisest retreat you will ever make, a retreat back into your own wholeness. This is not about the other person. This is about an interior revolution. It's about turning a prison cell into an open sky. And it begins with a single, counterintuitive understanding. Forgiveness is not something you do for them. It is a sacred ceremony you perform for yourself. It is the moment you stop drinking a poison you had hoped would make someone else sick. Let me begin with a story. Years ago, I met a man who was a master carpenter. His workshop was fragrant with cedar and pine. He showed me a beautiful oak table he was finishing. But he pointed to a long, thin, dark line running through the wood, a natural imperfection, a crack that had been filled with a resin of gold. "See this?" he said, running his finger over the smooth, gleaming seam. When I first cut this board and saw that crack, my heart sank. I thought it was ruined. I almost threw it on the scrap pile. But then I remembered an old teacher. Instead of hiding it, I chose to highlight it. I carefully widened it just a hair, and poured in liquid gold. "Now," he said, his eyes bright, "it's not the flaw in the table. It's the unique feature. It's the proof that the wood lived, that it weathered storms. It's the strongest part of the whole piece." He looked at me. We spend our lives trying to hide our cracks, our splits from the storms other people cause. We think they make us weak, ruined. What if we stop trying to hide them? What if, with great care and patience, we could learn to fill them not with bitterness, but with something precious, with the gold of our own understanding? That table taught me that the break is not the end of the story. It can be the beginning of a new kind of strength, a beauty that would not exist without it. This is where we must start. The Buddhist path is one of radical realism. It does not ask us to pretend the crack isn't there. It asks us to see it clearly, without flinching. Dukkha, suffering, stress, the crack in our experience, is the first noble truth. To deny it is to live in a fantasy. The man didn't pretend the crack was a painted line. He acknowledged it was a real split. But then, he applied prajna, wisdom. Wisdom asked, "Do I fight this reality, or do I work creatively with it?" And then he applied karuna, compassion. Compassion, first for himself, the disappointment of the flawed wood. And then for the wood itself, treating it not as trash but as material for art. This is the alchemy, clear seeing plus wisdom plus compassion. This trio transforms the wound. When we hold a grudge, we are doing the opposite. We are obsessively pointing at the crack, cursing it, trying to glue it back together with anger, which is a weak adhesive. It never holds. We are fighting reality, and that fight is the source of our continued pain. So let's try a small practice together, right here. It's not about the person who caused the crack. Not yet. It's about you, here with it. Bring to mind the feeling of that old hurt. Don't drag up the entire movie, just the sensation. Where does it live in your body? A clenched jaw. A fist in the stomach. A stiffness in the shoulders. Just locate it. Now, imagine that sensation is not a monster, but a tired, wounded animal you've been keeping in a dark corner of a room. You've been afraid of it, maybe throwing it scraps of your anger to keep it quiet. For just this moment, don't try to chase it out. Simply, in your mind's eye, turn on a very soft, gentle light in that corner. See the animal not as a threat, but as something that is hurt and scared. Breathe softly. You are not petting it. You are not even approaching it. You are just changing the lighting from one of fear to one of quiet observation. This is the beginning of clear seeing. This is turning on the light in the workshop and seeing the crack in the wood for what it is, without the drama of the story. Just the fact. It's here. This practice, this shift from narrative to sensation, from story to simple presence, is the first, revolutionary step out of the prison of resentment. The prison door is made of thought. When you stop fueling the story and just feel the sensation with a gentle awareness, the door begins to lose its solidity. If this first step, this simple act of changing the inner light, has brought you a moment of space, a sliver of relief, then I gently invite you to subscribe to Monk's Temple. By subscribing, you are simply choosing to turn that gentle light on a little more often. Each video from this sanctuary is a reminder to return to this practice, to your own inner workshop. It's a companion on the path. Your subscription helps this light reach other corners, other hearts that are ready to see differently. If you feel so moved, please click subscribe and the notification bell. It is a mindful gesture of support for your own journey and for this community of peace. Now, let's continue. Shall we go deeper into the workshop? So we sit in the workshop of our own heart, the soft light now illuminating what is there. Not the story of how the crack happened, but the simple, physical reality of it. This is where many stop. They see the crack and they think, this is my identity now. I am the person with this crack, caused by that person. We build a whole self around the wound. Buddhism offers a liberating, though initially startling, perspective on this, the teaching of anatta, often translated as non-self. It suggests there is no permanent, unchanging me to be damaged. This is not a cold denial of your pain. It is an invitation to profound freedom. Think of it like this: you are not a solid statue that has been chipped. You are more like a river. The insult, the betrayal, was like a handful of mud thrown into your waters. For a time, the water is cloudy, turbulent. You are muddy water. But if you identify forever as the muddy river, you are missing your true nature. Your nature is to flow. To allow the silt to settle. To be cleansed by new tributaries of experience. The mud was an event in the river, not the definition of the river. Holding a grudge is trying to keep the water perpetually agitated, insisting on its muddiness, building a dam to remember exactly where the mud was thrown in. You are fighting your own flow. I remember a woman who came to the temple many years ago. She carried a small, worn notebook. In it, in meticulous detail, she had written down every unkind thing her sister had said to her since they were children. The dates, the quotes, the context. It was a ledger of pain. "This is proof," she told me, her knuckles white around the book. "This is who she is. This is what she did to me." I asked her, "When you read this book, who are you?" She was confused. "I am the one she hurt." "Are you?" I asked gently. "Or are you, in this moment, the archivist of the hurt? The curator of this museum of pain?" The sister is living her life, perhaps unaware this book exists. But you are here, holding it, breathing its dust. You have become the keeper of the injury, not just the one who was injured. She looked at the book as if seeing it for the first time. Her identity had become so fused with being the wronged one that she had stopped living her own life. She was the muddy river that refused to flow past the spot where the mud was thrown. We sat in silence for a long time. Then, without a word, she walked to the fire pit where we burned old prayer flags. She stood there for a full minute. Then, she placed the notebook gently into the flames. She didn't do it with drama or rage. It was a quiet, deliberate act of release. She wasn't declaring her sister innocent. She was declaring herself free from the full-time job of being the historian of her own suffering. She was allowing the river to move on. This is the second step, recognizing that the solid, wounded you is a story you are telling, a role you are playing. And you can put the script down. The wisdom of the Buddha doesn't ask you to believe you have no self. It invites you to investigate, what are you, really, underneath all these changing thoughts, feelings, and memories? When you look closely, you find a process, a flow, not a frozen statue. The hurt is part of the flow, a storm that passed through. To forgive is to stop building your home in the wreckage of that storm. Let's try a deeper practice now. Keep that gentle awareness on the physical sensation of the hurt. Now, introduce the breath. Imagine that with each inhalation, you are drawing in clear, cool, mountain air. And with each exhalation, you are sending that breath directly to the place of tightness or heaviness in your body. You are not trying to blast it away. You are offering it space. You are offering it oxygen. Imagine the sensation is a dense, dark cloud. Your breath is not a wind to scatter it violently, but a gentle, persistent atmosphere that allows the cloud to slowly, gradually, begin to dissipate and change form. Do this for 10 breaths. Just 10. With each cycle, whisper inwardly, this too is changing. This is not my permanent home. You are practicing the truth of anicca, impermanence. Everything that arises, passes away. Even this. Especially this. By breathing with it, you are not fighting it. You are accompanying it on its natural journey toward dissolution. You are allowing the river to do what rivers do, flow, cleanse, renew. This brings us to another core Buddhist principle, karma. Karma is not fate or punishment. It is the simple, relentless law of cause and effect. Think of your mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed. A thought of resentment is a seed with prickly, thorny vines. When you replay the hurt, you are watering that seed. You are tending the thorn bush. And what grows? More thorns. More thickets that snag your peace, that block the sunlight from reaching the flowers of joy, kindness, and creativity you could be growing. The person who hurt you planted the first thorn seed with their action. But every time you revisit it with bitterness, you are the gardener choosing to water it, prune it, fertilize it. Your karma, your future experience, becomes a garden overrun with the very pain you say you want to be free from. Forgiveness, then, is the conscious, radical act of stopping. It is putting down the watering can. It is walking away from that particular plot of land. It is allowing those thorny thoughts to wither from neglect, while you turn your attention, your care, your water, to a new part of the garden where you want to grow something beautiful. This is not passive. It is the most active gardening you will ever do. You are changing the landscape of your future mind. You are the gardener, standing at the edge of that overgrown plot, the watering can heavy in your hand. The choice is momentous, yet silent. To walk away feels, in that instant, like abandonment. If I don't tend to this, the mind whispers, it means what happened didn't matter. It means they win. This is the illusion that keeps us trapped. The Buddhist path is paved with the wisdom of right action, action that leads to the end of suffering, not its perpetuation. Watering the thorns is an action. Letting them wither is also an action. One leads to more thickets. The other leads to clear ground. Which is the truly wise choice? Let me tell you an original story, a parable from the old scrolls of Monk's Temple. There was once a famous jeweler who possessed a flawless, priceless diamond. A rival, in a fit of envy, stole into his workshop and struck the diamond with a hammer, creating a deep, ugly scratch across its largest facet. The jeweler was devastated. The diamond was ruined. He could not sell it. He placed it on a black velvet cloth and for a year, he did nothing but stare at the scratch. He grew gaunt and bitter. The scratch was all he could see. It filled his dreams. One morning, a master carver from a distant land visited. He saw the jeweler and the diamond. He asked to hold it. He turned it in the light for a long, silent time, his eyes not on the scratch, but on the stone's inherent structure, its lines of clarity. Finally, he spoke. "You are staring at the interruption," he said. "I am studying the flow." He asked for permission to work on the stone. Desperate, the jeweler agreed. The carver did not try to erase the scratch. That was impossible. Instead, with astonishing precision, he used the scratch as the central stem. He carved delicate, intricate petals radiating from it, transforming the deep gouge into the graceful stem of a lotus flower. Then he carved the lotus blossom itself around it, using the diamond's natural inclusions as dewdrops on the petals. When he finished, the diamond was no longer a flawed gem. It was a legendary masterpiece, a diamond lotus, more valuable and more beautiful than it had ever been before. The flaw had become the genesis of its greatest art. The jeweler wept. He had spent a year seeing only the violation. The carver saw the raw material for transcendence. This is the wisdom of the Buddha applied to forgiveness. The hurt is the scratch. It is real. It cannot be undone. Our habitual reaction is to stare at it, to define the entire precious stone of our life by this one interruption. Wisdom asks a different question: given that this scratch is here, what magnificent artistry is now possible? How can this be integrated into a design of greater meaning and beauty? The scratch becomes the stem of the lotus. The betrayal becomes the catalyst for unwavering compassion. The abandonment becomes the foundation for unshakable self-reliance. You do not forgive the hammer. You honor the scratch by making it essential to a more profound work of art, your awakened life. Now, let's bring this into the body, into the breath. Return to that sensation, the physical echo of the scratch. We're going to practice a form of Tunglen, a profound breathing practice of giving and receiving. It transforms the relationship with pain. Close your eyes. Breathe normally. Now, as you inhale, imagine you are gently drawing in the specific quality of that old hurt, its tightness, its bitterness, its heat. Don't be afraid. You are not taking in more poison, you are consciously acknowledging the poison that is already there, giving it space to move. You are saying, "Yes, I see you. I am willing to feel you fully, to know you, so that I may understand you." Hold it for a moment in the vast, open awareness of your heart. Then, as you exhale, imagine you are releasing and sending out the exact opposite quality. If you drew in heat, send out coolness. If you drew in tightness, send out soft, expansive space. If you drew in bitterness, send out a wave of gentle sweetness, of peace. You are not sending it to the person who hurt you. You are sending it out into the universe from your own heart, transforming the energy right at its source. Inhale the thorn. Exhale the petal. Inhale the scratch. Exhale the light that makes it sparkle as part of a new design. Do this for just 5 breath cycles. You are the jeweler learning from the carver. You are no longer frozen in staring. You are engaging in the sacred alchemy of transformation. You are practicing the ultimate truth. That within your own heart lies the capacity to transmute suffering into something of value. This is the heart of Bodhisattva, the awakened heart-mind that seeks enlightenment not just for oneself, but having understood pain, seeks to end it for all beings. You start with your own scratch. This practice requires immense courage. It feels counterintuitive. The world says, "Get that bitter thing out of you. Push it away." But what you resist, persists. By gently inviting it in with the breath, you are disarming its power to haunt you. You are saying, "You are not an enemy to be feared. You are a misunderstood energy to be known and transformed." This is the warrior's path of the peaceful heart. So we sit, breathing through the scratch, learning to see it not as ruin, but as raw material. The story is changing. The identity of the wounded one is softening. The garden of the mind is being tended with new, deliberate care. We are preparing the ground for the lotus to bloom. As we breathe, as we transform the raw material of our hurt, a space begins to clear within us. It's not an empty space, but a fertile one. This is where a critical fork in the road appears, illuminated by Buddhist wisdom. One path is the path of the old story, "They did this, so I must feel that." It is a loop, a well-worn groove in the mind. The other path is the path of responsibility. Not for the action, but for your freedom from its endless echo. This is not about blame shifting back to you. It is about power reclaiming. As long as you believe your peace is held hostage by someone else's past action, you are granting them a permanent lease on your inner life. The Buddha's teaching on dependent origination shows us how suffering is created through a chain of causes and conditions. The other person's action was one link. Your continued mental elaboration. The replaying, the resentment, the storytelling, is the next link, and the one you have direct agency over. To forgive is to consciously break that link. It is to say, the chain of suffering stops here, with me. I will share a personal memory. Early in my training, I was tasked with tending the temple's ancient bell. It was my honor to ring it at dawn and dusk. One day, a senior monk, perhaps having a bad day, sharply and publicly criticized my rhythm, calling it disruptive to meditation. His words felt unfairly harsh. For weeks, every time I approached the bell, my hands would tremble. The joy was gone. I was ringing not for the dawn, but to avoid his disapproval. I was chained to his moment of irritation. My teacher noticed my hesitance. He didn't mention the other monk. Instead, he said, "Tell me, when you strike the bell, who listens?" I gave a doctrinal answer: the Sangha listens. The world listens. He shook his head softly. First, you listen. The very first sound vibration travels up the rope, into your hands, into your bones, into your heart. You are the first recipient of your own bell. Are you ringing for him, or are you ringing for the dawn within you? The next morning, I stood before the bell. I saw the senior monk in my mind's eye. Then I heard my teacher's question. I took a deep breath, and let my intention settle not on the past criticism, but on the present moment, the cool air, the fading stars, the sleeping world. I rang. The sound washed through me first, pure and clear. It wasn't a performance for a critic. It was an offering from my heart to the new day. In that moment, I forgave him. Not by approving his words, but by withdrawing the power I had given them to dictate the quality of my sacred duty. I broke the chain. The bell's psalm was mine again. This is the subtle core of forgiveness, reclaiming your own instrument. Your mind, your heart, your peace, they are your bell. Someone struck it harshly. The discordant note hung in the air. You can spend your life trying to silence that one bad note, trying to argue with its existence, or you can, in this very moment, choose to strike the bell again, with a clear and loving intention, creating a new sound that absorbs the old vibration into a larger, more harmonious chord. You are not erasing the past note. You are adding new music to it. Let's practice this reclamation. Sit comfortably. Bring to mind the situation one more time. Now, instead of focusing on the hurt, focus on what was yours that felt touched. Was it your trust? Your sense of safety? Your pride? Identify the inner instrument that was struck. Now, place a hand over your heart. Feel the steady rhythm of your life, still here, still beating. This is your essential bell, your fundamental instrument. It cannot be truly broken, only temporarily mistuned. Now, with your next exhale, make a soft, humming sound. Let it vibrate in your chest. Feel that internal resonance. That is the sound of your life, your presence, your vitality. It has nothing to do with the other person. It is yours. Hum again. You are ringing your own bell. You are tuning the instrument of your being back to its fundamental note, the note of aliveness, of presence. The hurt was a discordant strike on the surface. This hum is the deep, resonant truth of your existence, which cannot be harmed. Forgive by returning to your own fundamental note. Anchor there. The criticisms, the betrayals, The harsh words, they are all surface strikes. They come and go. Your fundamental note remains. Buddhism teaches that this fundamental note is your Buddha nature, your inherent capacity for wakefulness and peace. It is unscratched. It is the diamond beneath the lotus carving. As you hum, or simply feel the internal resonance of your being, offer this thought: I am not the discord. I am the instrument that can still play beauty. I reclaim my song. This is the power no one can take, unless you hand it to them wrapped in your resentment. Reclaiming your song, your fundamental note, is a homecoming. But the mind, clever and protective, might now whisper a new concern: if I let this go, if I stop defining myself by this wound, what will protect me? Isn't my anger my shield? Isn't my resentment a warning sign to keep me safe? This is a wise question, and the Buddhist path honors it with an even wiser answer. True safety does not come from a shield of bitterness, but from a lamp of wisdom. Anger is a blind shield. It weighs down your arms so you cannot move freely, and it blocks your own vision. Wisdom is a lantern you carry. It lights up the path ahead, shows you the true nature of obstacles, and allows you to navigate around harm without having to stand still, heaving a heavy shield. I will tell you an original story from the annals of Monk's Temple. There was a village built on the edge of a dark, dense forest. The villagers lived in fear of the forest's unseen dangers. To protect themselves, each villager, from childhood, was given a heavy, thick, opaque visor to wear at all times. It was their shield. It blocked their peripheral vision and made the world dim, but they believed it kept them safe from sudden threats. They moved slowly, clumsily, constantly bumping into one another, their relationship strained by the constant, obscured suspicion. The village was a place of isolated, fearful hearts. One day, a traveler from a distant land entered the village. She carried no shield, but in her hand was a simple, beautifully crafted lantern that cast a warm, wide circle of light around her feet and several paces ahead. The villagers gathered, astonished. "You are defenseless," they cried. "The forest will get you." The traveler smiled. "I can see the roots before I trip," she said. "I can see the friendly animal from the threatening one in time to choose my path. I can see your faces, and so I can connect with you. My light shows me what is truly there. Your shields only show you the darkness of your own fear." She offered to teach them how to make lanterns. It was difficult. It required gathering specific materials, patience, and the courage to first lift off the familiar, heavy visor. But one by one, the bravest villagers tried. They discovered that with the lantern, they could move with grace. They could see and avoid actual dangers rather than living in constant fear of imagined ones. They could truly see each other, and compassion began to grow where suspicion once lived. The village transformed, not because the forest changed, but because they changed their way of navigating it. Your resentment is that visor. It feels like protection. If I stay angry, you think, I will never be fooled again. I will keep my distance. And it does create distance, a dim, lonely, isolating distance from life itself. It makes you clumsy in new relationships, suspicious of kindness. The wisdom of the Buddha is the lantern. It is the clear light of prajna that allows you to see the other person's action for what it was, a manifestation of their own pain, ignorance, or confusion. It allows you to see the situation with clarity. This happened. This person is capable of this. Therefore, I will move forward with this understanding. The lantern lights your path of wise action, which may be compassionate detachment, firm boundaries, or simply a quiet release, but it is action born of seeing, not of blind reaction. You are no longer trapped in the dark, huddled behind your shield. You are free to walk your path, illuminated. Let's practice building this lantern. Sit quietly. Imagine your resentment, your grudge, as that heavy, dark visor over your face. Feel its imagined weight, its constriction, how it limits your view of the present moment. Acknowledge its intended purpose, to protect you. Thank that part of you that sought protection. Now, with a slow, deliberate intention, imagine lifting it off. Place it gently on the ground beside you. Notice the feeling of lightness, the expansion of your visual field in your mind's eye. The air feels cooler on your skin. Now, in your cupped hands, imagine kindling your lantern. See the spark of conscious intention. See the flame catch, a steady, calm, golden flame. It is the flame of your own aware, understanding heart. Feel its warmth in your hands. Now, imagine holding this lantern out before you as you contemplate the person or situation. See its light falling not with judgment, but with gentle, factual clarity. In this light, the old story may look different. The sharp edges might soften into human frailty. Your own role might come into perspective. The path forward becomes visible, not a path back to the person, but a path forward for you. Sit with this illuminated space for a few breaths. Your protection is no longer a blind, heavy barrier, but a mobile, illuminating intelligence. This is the safety of the awakened heart. Carrying this lantern, you realize forgiveness was never about dropping your defenses into foolish vulnerability. It was about exchanging a crude, debilitating tool for a refined, empowering one. You are not asked to walk back into the dark forest unarmed. You are asked to trade a blindfold for a light. This is the strategic genius at the heart of the Buddha's teachings on forgiveness. Holding the lantern of wisdom, your path becomes clearer. You see the terrain of your own heart and the nature of others' actions with a new light. This light reveals a profound and often overlooked truth: the person who hurt you is also suffering. This is not to excuse their behavior, but to understand it in the full context of the Buddha's teaching. The second noble truth teaches that the origin of suffering is craving, aversion, and ignorance, *tanha star. When someone acts from a place of cruelty, betrayal, or neglect, they are in the grips of a powerful, often unconscious, suffering. They are craving validation, they are averse to their own feelings of inadequacy, they are ignorant of the interconnectedness of all beings. Their action is a symptom of their own dis-ease. Seeing this is an act of profound insight, not sentimentality. It is the difference between seeing a raging person as a monster, and seeing them as a person who is on fire. You don't have to hug someone who is on fire. But understanding they are aflame changes everything. It drains the personal venom from the event. It wasn't about your worth, it was about their internal conflagration. Let me share an original story. In a mountain village, there was a legendary spring known for its sweet, healing water. The keeper of the spring was a gentle old man. One summer, a stranger arrived. A hollow-eyed, angry man who cursed the spring, claiming its water was bitter and had poisoned him years before. He would come daily to shout at the old keeper, accusing him, spitting on the ground. The villagers were outraged. They wanted to drive the angry man away. But the old keeper would simply listen, then offer a dipper of water from the very spring the man was cursing. The stranger would knock it from his hand. This went on for weeks. One villager finally asked the keeper, "Why do you endure this? Why do you keep offering water he refuses?" The old keeper looked at the villager with tired eyes. "He is not thirsty for water," he said. "He is thirsty for an enemy. For years, he has carried a bitterness inside that has nothing to do with this spring. He needs to pour it somewhere. If I become his enemy, if I retaliate, I simply prove his bitter world right. I offer the water to remind myself of what is true here. The spring is sweet. His thirst is for something else entirely." One day, after a particularly vicious tirade, the angry man slumped to the ground, exhausted. The keeper sat beside him, not speaking, just holding the dipper of water between them. After a long silence, the man began to weep, not in anger, but in despair. He took the dipper and drank. The weeping turned to sobbing, and he confessed a loss so old and deep it had turned his entire world to poison. The keeper's unwavering, non-retaliatory presence had finally created a space where the real illness could surface. The man wasn't cured in a day, but the war at the spring was over. You are the keeper of your own inner spring. The other person's actions were their bitterness, their poison, looking for a place to be poured. If you retaliate with matching bitterness, you engage in a war over a poison you both now share. If you build a fortress of resentment, you are living inside the very poison they tried to spill. The Buddhist way is to do what the old keeper did: know the sweetness of your own spring so unshakably that you are not defined by their accusations. You offer the water of your own unwavering peace, not to them directly, but to the situation, by not adding more poison to it. You offer it first to yourself. This creates a space. Sometimes, as in the story, it allows a transformation. Often, it does not. The outcome is not the point. The point is that you have protected the sanctity of your own spring. Your forgiveness is the act of knowing your water is still sweet, despite their claims. Let's practice protecting the spring. Close your eyes. Bring to mind the hurtful action. Now, imagine that action as a dark, bitter liquid being poured toward you. See it coming. Now, instead of letting it hit you, or building a wall of anger that gets stained by it, imagine a subtle, powerful force field around you, a sphere of clear, radiant light. This is the light of your own understanding, your prajna. See the bitter liquid hit this sphere and simply slide off, dissipating into the ground. It does not touch you. It does not stain you. You remain dry, clean, and whole at the center. Inside your sphere, you are at peace. You can see the person pouring the bitterness. You can see the pain on their face, the confusion that drives them. From within your protected, clear space, you can even feel a flicker of compassion for the torment they must be in to carry such bitterness. But you do not open the sphere. You simply observe, protected by wisdom. Breathe here. My peace is intact. Their pain is theirs. This is forgiveness as supreme spiritual self-defense. It is the ultimate nonviolent resistance. You refuse to let their poison become your internal ecology. This practice may feel distant or even cold at first. That's okay. It is not the end point, but a necessary stage of healing. Before you can offer genuine compassion, you must be absolutely secure in your own unassailability. The Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, unmoved by the assaults of Mara, the personification of delusion. He saw Mara's illusions for what they were, and in that unwavering, clear seeing, he was freed. You are learning to sit under the Bodhi tree of your own heart, seeing the hurtful action as an illusion of permanence and solidity, and in that seeing, you become free. Sitting in the radiant sphere of your own peace, you have found a sanctuary. From here, you can observe the storm without being drenched. This vantage point allows for a deeper, more panoramic view, one that encompasses the vast web of causality, what Buddhism calls praditya samutpada, or dependent origination. Nothing occurs in isolation. The hurt that reached you was the endpoint of 1,000 converging threads, the other person's upbringing, their fears that day, the cultural pressures they bear, the unmet needs screaming in their silent places, and yes, perhaps even threads from your own past karma, patterns you are meant to meet and transcend. This is not about blame, but about context. Seeing with this wide-angle lens dissolves the simplistic drama of villain and victim. It reveals a tragic dance of cause and effect where everyone is, to some degree, caught. This perspective is the bedrock of profound forgiveness. It moves you from the heated courtroom of who's right and who's wrong to the quiet observatory of how did this painful constellation come to be. I will share an original story, a teaching tale often told in the quiet hours at Monk's Temple. Two potters lived in neighboring villages, each famous for their distinct clay. One used rich, red earth from the eastern hills. The other used smooth, pale clay from the western riverbank. They were cordial rivals. A great festival was announced, with a prize for the most beautiful pot. Both worked tirelessly. The night before the festival, a terrible storm swept through. It was particularly fierce over the eastern hills. Torrents of rain washed tons of the red potter's precious clay down the slopes, ruining his supply and flooding his workshop. Exhausted and in despair, he looked across the valley and saw the western potter's workshop, untouched, lights glowing. A corrosive thought took root: why should he have perfect conditions while I suffer? In a moment of twisted grief, he crept across the valley and poured a vial of strong vinegar into the western potter's main clay vat, knowing it would subtly weaken the clay's structure. The next day, the western potter opened his vat. The clay looked fine, felt normal. He threw his pot, a graceful vase, and fired it. It came from the kiln looking perfect. At the festival, as the judges handled it, admiring its form, the vase, its integrity secretly compromised, cracked with a soft sigh and collapsed into fragments. The western potter was shattered. The eastern potter, who had presented a humble, hastily made pot from salvaged clay, felt no triumph, only a deepening shame and horror. He watched the confusion and grief on his rival's face and saw the far-reaching consequences of his single act of poisoned envy. The storm, his loss, his jealousy, his action, the hidden flaw, the public collapse, it was a chain of suffering that now entangled them both more tightly than any competition ever had. The Buddha teaches that we live in an interconnected web. The Eastern potter's action didn't emerge from a vacuum. It was born from the storm, external condition. His loss, suffering, and his unskillful mental reaction of envy, ignorance, avidya. The Western potter received the result, a collapsed vase, from a cause he could not see. When you are the Western potter, holding the fragments of your collapsed trust, it is natural to see only the malicious act. Wisdom asks you to widen the lens, to see the storm that preceded it. This doesn't justify the vinegar. It contextualizes it. It allows you to see the act as part of a tragic flow of pain, not as a solitary, monstrous event. Your forgiveness becomes an act of seeing the whole painful tapestry. You release the narrow story of my evil enemy, and understand the broader story of converging causes and conditions leading to suffering. This understanding is a form of mercy. For yourself, because it releases you from the toxic, isolating role of pure victim, and in a mysterious way, for the other, because you see them as a suffering node in the web, not an omnipotent demon. Let's practice this wider seeing. Bring your situation to mind. Now, gently, ask yourself, what might have been that a storm in their life? You don't need to know facts, imagine possibilities. Fear. Insecurity. A deep, unhealed wound of their own. Now imagine that vinegar. Their hurtful action, as a misguided, desperate attempt to balance some inner pain they could not bear. See the entire sequence not as a targeted missile, but as a sad, skidding chain reaction. Finally, hold the image of your own collapsed vase, the hurt. See it as the unfortunate, perhaps inevitable, meeting point of these many streams of cause and effect. Breathe into this expansive view. There is a strange, quiet sorrow that replaces the hot anger. This sorrow is not personal, it is universal. It is the heart's recognition of the pervasive truth of dukkha. This compassionate sorrow is the fertile ground where true forgiveness takes root. It says, this is how suffering moves through the world. I am a part of this web. I release my hold on this single, painful knot. This shift is monumental. You are no longer a solitary fighter on a battlefield. You are a compassionate witness in a field of universal cause and effect. Your work is not to win a war, but to understand the nature of the field so thoroughly that you can step out of the cycle of creating new, painful knots. This is the path to liberation. With the wide-angle lens of dependent origination, we see the painful event as part of a vast, flowing web. This perspective brings a profound, almost impersonal, compassion. It allows us to lay down the burden of the personal grievance. But the mind, ever the craftsman of identity, might now whisper, if I let this go, what becomes of justice? Doesn't holding on to this anger keep the moral ledger balanced? If I forgive, am I saying it was okay? This is perhaps the most crucial crossroads on the path. The wisdom of the Buddha makes a critical distinction here, one that is often missed. Forgiveness is not the same as absolution, and it is entirely separate from the law of karma, ***. Think of it this way. Karma is the immutable law of the universe, like gravity. If someone commits a harmful act, they have set in motion a chain of causes that will, with certainty, bring a corresponding result into their experience. It is as reliable as planting a thorn seed and getting a thorn bush. You do not need to personally water that thorn bush for it to grow. The universe will attend to it. Your anger, your resentment, is not the enforcement of karma. It is you, choosing to plant a second thorn bush, in the garden of your own mind. You are essentially saying, they planted thorns in their field, so I will plant thorns in mine to show them. It is a futile, self-destructive protest against a law that is already in motion. Forgiveness is the decision to stop planting thorns in your own field because you finally understand that their harvest is not your responsibility, and your peace is. Let me share an original story. In a coastal kingdom, there was a wise and just queen. A nobleman, greedy for power, spread vicious lies about her to turn the people against her. The plot was discovered before it could cause rebellion, and the nobleman was brought before the queen for judgment. The people cried for his head, for his lands to be seized. The queen listened. Then she pronounced her sentence: "You are banished from this court. Your lands and titles will pass to your son, who has shown loyalty. As for you, you are free to go." The crowd gasped. The nobleman, stunned, sneered, "So you forgive me? You are weak." The queen looked at him with a gaze as calm as the deep sea. "I do not forgive you," she said. "The law of the land holds you accountable, hence your banishment. My personal feelings are my own kingdom. In that inner kingdom, I banish the poison of your hatred. I will not carry it for you. Your actions have their own consequences, which will follow you like your shadow. My sentence is for my peace, not your pardon. Now go, and contend with your own shadow." The queen understood the separation of realms. The outer realm of action had consequences, banishment. The inner realm of her heart was her sovereign territory. To hold hatred was to allow the traitor to occupy her inner kingdom even after he was gone from the outer one. Her forgiveness was an act of inner statecraft, of spiritual hygiene. She released him to his own karma, the shadow that would follow him, while refusing to let his poison become her permanent interior decoration. This is the empowered view. You are the queen of your own heart. The person's action belongs to the outer realm of cause and effect. Your resentment is an attempt to personally enforce a law that is already in motion. It is a futile, exhausting job. Drop it. Pronounce your inner sentence: "I banish this venom from my heart's kingdom. I release you to your own karma, which is between you and the universe." This is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength. It is the strength to govern your own inner world with justice, a justice that prioritizes your own peace and freedom above the futile attempt to personally punish someone. Let's practice this sovereign declaration. Sit with dignity, as a ruler upon a throne. Feel the authority of your own breath, the territory of your own body. Bring the person before your mind's eye. See them in the outer realm. Now, in your inner kingdom, feel if there is any poison of theirs you are still holding. The hot coal of anger, the cold stone of betrayal. Acknowledge it. Now, with the full authority of your sovereign self, pronounce your inner decree. You might say silently, "I see your action. Its consequences are yours to bear. In my kingdom, I now banish this residue of pain. I release you to your own journey. My peace is restored." Imagine gathering that psychic poison and handing it back to them, or simply letting it dissolve into light. Feel the clean, clear space that remains in your inner chamber. You have not pardoned the crime. You have cleansed the temple. This practice aligns you with the Dharma, the natural law. You stop fighting karma on a personal, emotional level and allow it to operate impersonally, which is its nature. You tend to your own garden, knowing their weeds are for them to face. This is the mature, wise heart of Buddhist forgiveness, a fierce commitment to your own inner justice, which is peace. And a humble release of the need to be the agent of another's cosmic balance. Let's continue. You have cleansed the inner temple. You have released the other to their own karma. A spacious quiet now resides where once there was the noisy conflict of resentment. In this quiet, something new and tender can emerge, but only if we allow it. This is the final, often misunderstood, frontier of forgiveness, the possibility of metta, or loving kindness, directed towards the one who caused harm. Please understand, this is not a requirement, nor is it the next immediate step. It is a flower that may bloom in its own time, in its own way, from the soil of your genuine release. It is crucial to know that metta in this context is not a warm, fuzzy feeling of affection. It is not reconciliation. It is not trust rebuilt. It is, rather, a clear, cool, intentional wish for their fundamental well-being, born from a profound understanding of our shared condition. What is that shared condition? As the Buddha taught, all beings wish to be happy and to avoid suffering. The person who hurt you was, in their own confused and disastrous way, pursuing happiness or fleeing suffering. They failed utterly, causing pain in the process, because they were operating from ignorance, *avidya*. Their method was deeply flawed. Metta is the wish that they, and all beings, be free from that very ignorance that causes such suffering. It is the wish that they find true happiness, not the counterfeit happiness of harming others. You wish this from a place of safety and detachment. It is the ultimate expression of having reclaimed your own kingdom so completely that you can afford a generous, benevolent foreign policy. Let me share an original story, a quiet legend from Monk's Temple. There was an ancient, sprawling banyan tree whose aerial roots formed a small forest of its own. For centuries, it provided shelter for all creatures. One year, a violent lightning storm set a part of the tree ablaze. The fire raged through a major limb, blackening it, leaving it dead and hollow. The creatures fled the scarred area. For a long time, the burned limb stood as a stark, ugly testament to the storm's violence against the tree. But the tree did not hate the storm. The tree continued to live. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, it began to grow a new aerial root. This root did not grow from a healthy, untouched branch. It grew from a point just above the scorched limb. It grew slowly, deliberately, down toward the earth. Years later, that root touched the ground and thickened into a new trunk. It enveloped the old, blackened limb, not by hiding it, but by incorporating it into a new structure of support. The burned hollow became a sheltered nook for owls. The new trunk provided fresh shade. The tree, by growing a new root of life from the place near its wound, had not only survived but had become more stable, more expansive, and more resilient because of it. The storm is the hurtful action. The burned limb is the pain, the dead trust, the scar. Your resentment is like the tree refusing to grow, forever focusing its energy on the blackened scar. Metta is the new aerial root. It is a channel of life energy sent forth not to the storm, but from a point of wisdom near the wound. It is a conscious, chosen growth in the direction of life and connection, a wish for stability and peace that ultimately strengthens your entire being. It grows from your understanding, past the old scar, and connects you back to the nourishing earth of interconnected life. When you can wish, from a genuine place, may you be free from the ignorance that caused this. May you find peace, you are that banyan tree sending down a new root. You are not reviving the dead limb. You are building a future that integrates it. Let's try a very gentle, advanced practice. This is only to be attempted when you feel the clean, clear space of release we cultivated earlier. If any heat of anger remains, return to the lantern or the sphere. This is for when the quiet is stable. Sit in peace. Bring the person to mind, but see them from a great distance, as if you are the banyan tree and they are a figure on a faraway hill. From this safe distance, offer these phrases, first to yourself, may I be at peace. May my heart remain open and wise. Feel that. Then, towards the distant figure, offer, just as I wish to be free from suffering, I understand you, in your way, also wish to be free from suffering. May you be free from the ignorance that causes suffering. May you find true peace. Do not force feeling. Let the words be like seeds planted in the clear space of your heart. It's the intention that matters, the direction of the growth. If resistance arises, thank it for protecting you, and simply return to your own breath. May I be at peace. This is the practice. It may feel mechanical at first. That's fine. You are training the heart in a new direction. This metta is the final piece of the alchemy. It completes the transformation. The hurtful event is no longer a radioactive piece of trash you're trying to bury or hold at arm's length. Through wisdom, *prajna*, you have understood its nature. Through compassionate release, *karuna*, for yourself, you have cleared its toxic charge. And now, through metta, you integrate it into the larger ecosystem of your life as a source of wisdom and even, eventually, a source of compassion for the universal human predicament. The scar becomes part of the tree's majestic, resilient architecture. This is the journey from prisoner to queen to ancient, wise banyan tree. This is the Buddhist path of forgiveness. Let's complete our journey. We have traveled from the heavy rock in the river to the quiet sovereign on the throne, to the ancient banyan tree sending down roots of metta. We have seen forgiveness not as a single act, but as a profound process of reorientation. A shifting of the very axis of your heart from reaction to creation, from imprisonment to sovereignty. The Buddha's teachings offer no magic to erase the past. They offer something far more powerful, a method to change your relationship with the past so completely that it loses its power to define your present. You are not asked to forget the scratch on the diamond. You are taught how to carve a lotus from it. You are not told to pretend the storm never burned the limb. You are shown how to grow a new trunk from just above it. This is the culmination, forgiveness as integration, the event, the person, the pain, they become threads woven into the larger tapestry of your awakening. They become the teachers of your resilience, the proofs of your capacity to transform poison into medicine, the very obstacles that, in the words of the Tibetan tradition, become the path itself. When you can look back at that chapter of your life and feel not the old searing heat, but a quiet acknowledgement, a nod to a difficult teacher who taught you the boundaries of your strength, the clarity of your wisdom, the depth of your compassion for yourself, then you know the process is complete. The war is over. Peace has been signed, not with the other, but within the contested territory of your own soul. I will leave you with one final, original teaching story from the heart of Monk's Temple. There was an old monastery built high in the mountains, accessible only by a narrow, treacherous path. For generations, the monks maintained this path, clearing rocks, shoring up edges. One winter, a massive avalanche sheared away a huge section of the path, leaving a yawning gap over a cliff. The monks were devastated. Their link to the world below was severed. They tried for weeks to rebuild the path in the same place, but the ground was too unstable. Exhausted and hopeless, they sat in silence. The eldest monk, who had said nothing, finally spoke. "We are trying to rebuild the old path," he said. "The mountain has told us that path is gone. We must listen to the mountain. We must find where the mountain will allow a path." He led them not to the gap, but back from it, studying the new contours of the slope. He pointed to a ridge slightly higher up, one that required a longer, more gentle switchback to reach. "We will build the new path there. It will be a different journey. It will take longer to walk. But it will be stable." And, he added, looking at the gap, from that higher ridge, you will be able to see the old gap below you. You will know it is there. But you will be here, on solid ground, walking forward. The monks built the new path. And he was right. Walking it, one could glance down and see the raw scar of the old avalanche, the place where the way forward had once seemed impossible. But they were not there anymore. They were here, on a new, secure path that the disaster itself had made necessary. The avalanche was not undone. It was integrated. It became the reason for a higher, wiser, more resilient route. The hurt you carry is that avalanche. It has sheared away the old path of how you thought life, or that relationship, should be. You have spent precious energy trying to rebuild the path exactly as it was, across an impossible gap of trust or safety. The wisdom of Buddhism invites you to stop that futile effort. To sit. To listen to the new contours of your life. And then, with courage, to build a new inner path, a path of wisdom, self-compassion, and discerning peace, on stable ground above the old wound. This new path doesn't ignore the gap. From its higher vantage point, you can see it clearly. You remember it happened. But you are no longer standing at its crumbling edge, risking a fall. You are already on your new way, and the view from here is broader, the air clearer. So, as we end our time together, let this be your practice. When the memory of the hurt arises, feel the old pull to go back to the edge of that gap, to stare into it, to curse it. Then, remember. You have a new path now. Gently redirect your attention to the solid ground beneath your feet in this present moment. Your breath, the light in the room, the beating of your own steadfast heart. That is your new path. Walk it. Step by step. And know that from this path, you can afford to look back with a quiet mind. You can even, in time, offer a blessing of sorts to that old, broken place, for it forced you to find this higher way. This is the gift of true forgiveness. It doesn't give you back what was lost. It gives you something you could not have possessed without the loss. A wiser, more compassionate, and unshakable you. It gives you the path that the avalanche itself revealed. Thank you for walking this path with me today at Monk's Temple. May the peace you have touched here take root and grow into an unshakable tree within you. May you walk your higher path with grace and steady heart. Be well. Be peaceful. The script is complete.